Welcome back to Stool Samples, courtesy of High Fiber Sports. It was a wild week in the NFL with 5 games ending on the final play and 7 teams coming back after trailing in the fourth quarter, both of which tied the NFL record.
Let's break it down quick and dirty, high fiber style. This is NFL Week 11.
The New England Vrabels are officially speed running a rebuild, winning their 8th straight game and sitting at 9-2, tied with the best record in the NFL, causing non-Patriots fans to develop PTSD. Rookie Travion Henderson punched in 3 total touchdowns, and Drake May went 25 for 34 for 281 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, Justin Fields leads the Jets in both passing and rushing yards, but only completed 57% of his passes for 116 yards, and now is benched. The Jets had a promising start to this game, marching down the field and scoring on their first drive, but it was all downhill from there. After the game, the Jets officially changed their logo to a turd taking a shit. Jets 17, Patriots 27.
Next, we head across the pond to Madrid, Spain, where the Commanders and the Dolphins combined for 2 total touchdowns. The only player for either team that had a great game was Devon Achane, rushing for 120 yards on 21 carries. The worst part of this game was that it ended up going to overtime. America continues its middle finger to the rest of the world as we send these 2 teams to Spain as a showcase of our favorite sport. Commanders 13, Dolphins 16.
America's favorite quarterback, Jameis Winston, led what appeared to be the cast from the Little Giants to a close finish against the Packers. Winston goes 19 for 29 for 201 yards and topped it off with his specialty at the end, an interception. He is basically Carson Wentz with charisma. Jordan Love continues his all-hype train tour, throwing for 174 yards, only completing 54% of his passes. The percentage sounds bad, but it really wasn't his fault in this one, as the Packer receivers seem to have the hands of Jason Pierre-Paul. Packers 27, Giants 20.
In another barn burner where offense was just a suggestion, Davis Mills goes 26 for 41 for 274 yards and throws for the only touchdown for the Texans. The Titans only mustered up 229 yards of total offense against the league's best defense, cementing their stranglehold on the title for the league's worst offense. Ward has 194 yards in the air and leads them in rushing, but it's only for 33 yards. For some reason, fans keep coming to the Titans games, with their team being described as one that only a mother could love, and Matt. Texans 16, Titans 13.
Bryce Young went for 124 yards last week to call me Cam 2.0 this week, throwing for a franchise record 448 yards on one working ankle. Carolina came back from 21-7 to force overtime in this one. Bijan, meanwhile, had 104 yards and 2 tutties, but once Penix's knee tapped out and Cousins clocked in, the Falcons' offense turned on airplane mode. The NFC South is so embarrassingly mediocre that the Panthers are still in the race. It's not a division, it's a custody battle where nobody wants the kid. Panthers 30, Falcons 27.
Caleb Williams and the Bears have been on a hot streak coming into this week. In this matchup, the Vikings defense made Williams look like JJ McCarthy, as they both only completed 50% of their passes, going 16 for 32. The big difference was that the Bears defense continues to take the ball away, picking off McCarthy 2 times, increasing their league best turnover margin to plus 16. The worst part for the Vikings fans is that the Colts are 8-2 and the Seahawks are 7-3, starting their backups from last year. Bears 19, Vikings 17.
The Jaguars rebound after an epic collapse to the Texans last week when they blew a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter. The Jaguars controlled the game from start to finish in this one, though. It was their first game without a punt this season. The Chargers did their best Titans impression, meanwhile, totaling only 135 yards of total offense. Jim Harbaugh's man crush, Justin Herbert, went 10 for 18 for 81 yards and a pick. He also led the team in rushing, but with only 21 yards. This game was in hand so early that the Chargers pulled Herbert with 11 minutes left in the game. Harbaugh, looking for answers, is spotted at a J.C. Penney's after the game, looking for a darker color of khakis to light a fire under his team. Chargers 6, Jaguars 35.
The Bills were big mad after suffering one of the biggest upsets of the year in a loss to the Dolphins last week. Josh Allen goes into beast mode, throwing for 3 touchdowns and rushing for another 3. This has only been done 3 times in NFL history. Josh Allen has 2 of them. Telling Patrick Mahomes to hold my beer as he proves he is the best player in the NFL right now. The Bucs put up a good fight with Sean Tucker emerging as a legit weapon, rushing for 106 yards on 19 carries and 2 touchdowns in a losing effort. Allen joins in the Bills fans' jubilation post-game, jumping from an airplane onto a folding table, walking away uninjured. Buccaneers 32, Bills 44.
This week in the Retirement Home Rumble Part 2, 40-year-old Joe Flacco faces off against 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers for the second time this year. The city of Pittsburgh appears to be out of insure, as this game wasn't a shootout, the last one was. Flacco goes 23 for 40 for 199 yards with a tutty and a pick, as the Bengals only muster up 12 points. Aaron Rodgers leaves the game early with a broken wrist due to age-related calcium depletion. The frustration seems to be boiling over in Cincinnati as Jamar Chase was caught on camera spitting in the face of Steelers cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Even that wasn't enough to wash the taste of their season out of his mouth. Bengals 12, Steelers 34.
The best player in NFL history returns to the starting lineup for the 49ers after missing 6 games with a toe injury. Brock Purdy didn't seem to show any rust, though, tossing for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in a rout from start to finish. McCaffrey continues to get ignored in the MVP race, totaling 120 yards and 3 scores for the Niners as they keep winning with half a roster. Jacoby Brissett had a confusing stat line. He set an NFL record with 47 completions. Well, 49 if you count the 2 that went to the 49ers. While Michael Wilson had 185 receiving yards in the game, which is the most for any player in the NFL this season. While it was some good stats, this could be attributed to playing from behind the entire game. The wild numbers weren't enough to make this game respectable. After the game, Jonathan Gannon was spotted challenging his whole team to a fight. 49ers 41, Cardinals 22.
In a battle for the top of the NFC West, the Rams and the Seahawks come down to the last play. It was a record-setting day for a couple of wide receivers, with JSN recording his 7th 100-yard game this season, which is a Seahawk franchise record. On the LA side, Devontae Adams became the 17th player all-time with 1,000 receptions, even though he only had 1 this week. Sam Darnold again sees ghosts, this time of himself as a Jet, as he throws 4 interceptions. They were still able to get in position for a last-second field goal to win, but it never had a chance as it came up short and wide right. When asked about his performance after the game, Darnold stated, "At least I'm not JJ McCarthy." Seahawks 19, Rams 21.
Broncos do it again, winning in another nail-biter at the last second, defeating the Chiefs with a field goal as time expires. Even with the best record in the NFL, this team is still hard to believe it. Bo Nix has 295 yards passing and another clutch drive in the fourth quarter to set up the game winner. Despite Taylor Swift's husband having a solid game with 9 receptions for 91 yards and a score, Patrick Mahomes didn't have enough answers to this dominant Broncos defense. When Mahomes was asked about their 9-year streak of winning the NFC West ending, he stated, "It's not easy being green." Chiefs 19, Broncos 22.
The Ravens get to 500 for the first time this season after their matchup with the Brownies. Even though the Ravens came out with a victory, Lamar Jackson had a lackluster performance for him, with 2 interceptions and no touchdowns while being harassed by Myles Garrett all game. Garrett racked up 4 sacks on the hardest quarterback to chase in the NFL. It wasn't all bad news on the Ravens offense, as Mark Andrews became the Ravens franchise leader in receiving yards. In the same game, he had his first rushing touchdown of his career on a fourth down play that sealed the win. As for the Browns, Dylan Gabriel exited the game with a concussion in the third, so the much anticipated debut of Shadur Sanders was upon us. But it did not go as Browns fans wanted. Sanders only completed 25% of his passes for 47 yards. It looks like his first NFL game went about as well as his pre-draft interviews. Ravens 23, Browns 16.
The Eagles continue to win games without being able to score points. They have a combined 26 points over the last 2 weeks, but are somehow 2-0. The Lions' run game was shut down with a combined 66 yards on the ground from Gibbs and Montgomery. The passing attack wasn't much better. Amon-Ra St. Brown had only 2 catches on 12 targets. That's the least amount of catches on 12 targets since 2017. Philly's defense dominates again while their offense takes a shit, with less than 300 total yards and a victory. When asked after the game what's wrong with their offense, head coach Nick Sirianni insulted the reporter's mother in true Philadelphia style. Lions 9, Eagles 16.
After a week off with the bye and mourning from the loss of a teammate, the Cowboys absolutely destroy the hapless Raiders. Dak Poopscott throws for 4 touchdowns, and the duo of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens look like the best wide receiver duo in the league. Pickens stands out with 144 yards and a score. Many wonder if he was traded from the Steelers for giving them Antonio Brown vibes. Otherwise, it makes no sense. It was revealed after the game that what appears to be chewing gum that Coach Carroll is always chomping on is actually coca leaves, which explains his youthful energy. Cowboys 33, Raiders 16. That'll do it for another episode of Stool Samples, brought to you by High Fiber Sports. Please like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube.
For Matt Kobold, I'm Brad McDonald. See you next time on Stool Samples, where you learn nothing because we know nothing.